Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If you call what your neighbor is doing a criminal act, then if you would do the same thing, you have to call that as well a criminal act. I mean, you can't, say because I'm doing it, it's not a criminal act, but if he's doing the same thing, it's a criminal act. That would make you definitely unjust, right? And a hypocrite, because you say, hey, you can't do that, but I can. So once you determine that an action is bad because someone else is doing it, especially to you, then when you do it to the other persons, it's not becoming a bad act anymore. If you want to take it from a religious and a moral standpoint, don't do unto others what you don't like to be done unto you, right? That's the and since Ukrainians and Americans, they say they are very, very spiritual and religious, and all that, we have an article here that proves otherwise. All right, and I'm talking about the weasels in control, not the population. So this article comes from Sputnik, and it's from today, the 8th of December 2022. U.S. considering Ukraine's request to provide cluster munition. So I've seen a few articles in the past, 3 months, 4 months, coming from Ukrainian media, claiming with pictures showing some kind of rocket. I couldn't determine if that was what they were showing me because I don't know. But they were claiming that those were cluster bombs, cluster missiles, rockets with cluster munition and so on, and that's illegal. So those articles obviously were in the governmental media outlets like Ukrainska Pravda, New Voice of Ukraine, and Ukrinform. All those things I think are controlled by the propaganda of Soviet Union, of Ukraine. They were showing, oh my God, cluster, Russians are criminal using that. And now, US is considering, that means there's going to be a done deal. If you consider it, it's going to be a done deal. Ukraine's request. So Ukraine, that was blaming the Russians for using those cluster bombs, they ordered some munitions from their sponsor, US. You tell me, how does that make it, moral? Is the same thing as I said with a neighbor. So let's see what these guys are saying. The United States is considering Ukraine's request for cluster weapons that are banned by more than 100 countries. American media reported citing US and Ukrainian officials. The report said on Wednesday that Ukraine is requesting cluster munition warheads and weapons to use against Russian forces amid its special military operation. You can say, well, this is Sputnik talking propaganda. Well, you can verify that, all right? And there's no reason for me, for instance, to believe that they are not capable of doing it. I'm not saying I have the evidence, like the only evidence I have is what the mass media tells us. You have people over there in the Ukrainian government to confirm to you that they requested it. You got the person who requested it? No. So we depend on these guys. Now, if these guys lie, and they all lie, what I want to do? We want to point fingers. And, if they come with this kind of thing, I'm pretty sure that something is in talks. You know what I mean? Senior U.S. administration officials have been considering this request for several months and have yet to reject it, the report added. The reason the request hasn't received significant support is because of statutory restrictions U.S. Congress put in place on the transfer of U.S. cluster munition, the report said. A congressional aide told the press that the cluster munitions would not help Ukraine make gains on the battlefield. I don't like when we have so many unnamed sources, regardless where the information comes from. I don't like that for various reasons. I understand that why people would not like to provide their names and so on. You might lose your job and you're done and so on. Things that you work for. But it's just, why would you request something that you criticized and say, oh, look at what the Russians are doing. So that means if you do it, it's not right, it's okay. And then it makes you think, like the Americans say, two wrongs don't make a right. However you turn it, this is a bullshit request. But I understand it if you're in the middle of the war. I mean, on the other hand, this mentality, which I have no doubt, I'll say 99%, I'm very much inclined, let's put it this way, my assessment of the Ukrainian leadership, in this case Zelensky. This guy is a very dangerous man. In what way? If this guy would have the military capabilities, he would use them. He would have used them already. That's how I see it. He would have, when I talk about military capabilities, I'm talking about certain kind of weapons, if you know what I mean, like Putin has, like United States have, that's what I mean. Why? Because he, through his statements, he is inclined to do all that with no problems, no regrets. Remember, he's the only leader that I heard saying, well, I think the West should preemptively bomb Russia with nuclear weapons. And he said, nuclear weapons, preemptively, strike first. I don't hear anybody else saying nuclear weapons should be used as on. The only person that I heard saying that was Kadyrov. And Kadyrov is considered out there somewhere. And Kadyrov doesn't have nuclear weapons. And Kadyrov is the leader of Chechnya, not of Russia. So he's not. I don't want to consider a guy with having any power. But if you consider Kadyrov as being as they all call him here, being a criminal, being this and the baddest guy over there, in a bad way, I'm talking. Then how would you put this guy who says the same thing as Kadyrov? The same thing. Kadyrov said, well, maybe some tactical or local, whatever they call them, nuclear weapons should be used in Ukraine. That's what Kadyrov said. He doesn't have the nuclear weapons. But I didn't hear Putin saying that. I didn't hear Lavrov. I didn't hear Shoigu. People who might have, weight, their words carry weight. I didn't hear, Macron. I didn't hear even, what's her name? Truss. Lazy lizard Truss. I didn't hear the other idiot, Bojo, whatever his name is, Boris Johnson, another, anyway, below 86 IQ. See how nice I put it? Scholz, I didn't hear any other, but I heard this guy, but he doesn't have them, and he called it. Putin said, well, if we need to defend ourselves, we can use any military means. We have to defend ourselves. All right, and that implies everything that means includes nuclear weapons. They never said, we're going to use nuclear weapons, we're going to bomb the shit out of you. Yeah, we're going to do this. No. Nobody raised the bar as high as this guy and Kadyrov. But hey, Kadyrov is a bad dude. This guy is on Times Magazine cover and whatever, how's that, Financial Times and the Person of the Year and all that. Can you imagine that? Yes, I can. I can because I look around me in this society, United States of America's bullshit that they're pushing on us, where you are supposed to, you're supposed to celebrate things that you're against, or you say this is bullshit. If you don't say anything against it, it's not enough. So if you keep your mouth shut because you're a weasel, if you keep your mouth shut, it's not enough. You have to show admiration for certain perversions. All right? Why? Because that's the way they push these things. The same. If you show lack than worship, admiration towards this clown, dangerous clown, Zelensky in this case, you are something, Putin's army or something, sleeping cell somewhere where you are. So this is where we are in this environment. So yeah, send them cluster munition, and that would help them. That would help them do what? I don't know. So the Russian health ministry has lambasted reports pointing towards swiftly rising numbers. Oh, that's a different shit. What am I doing? I got lost into going too far. Anyway, that was all the entire article. I thought you had more to it. Yeah, send them cluster munition. They will send them if they want. The problem is they asked for. So it's not like it just fell on their lap or they had it before. They asked for it. And they were claiming the Russians and showing pictures of cluster munition. The Russians, international, this, not allowed, illegal, blah, 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 criminals. What would that make you? Defender of love and happiness and harmony? Yeah, that's how you're supposed to think about all these things. If you think a little bit lower than that, then you're something like, you know what I mean? Pop, tap, tap, tap. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.